Okay, we do have a quorum. Christine, could you lead us in the salute to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business, 1.2, approval of the minutes of Board of Education meeting October 10th.
Kevin Saitani, I will motion to accept the minutes
Christine
from
Descasio,
October
second
10th,
that.
2020.
Okay, discussion, any revisions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? All right, is unanimous. And to one report of the chairperson. As you notice tonight, I'm taking over the chair. Bob Aldi is preparing himself for surgery for tomorrow, so he's not coming in. And then we have two members, Arlene and Al Daniels, who both have prior work commitments. Greg is supposed to be joining us probably in about a half an hour. As you all know, on November 11th, it was Veterans Day. There was a lovely little ceremony at Stanton School, actually quite well attended, honoring veterans on Monday morning. And there was a retired Navy captain submariner who gave the keynote speech. And our veterans were there from Army, Navy. I don't know if there was Air Force there too, or
There was actually a staff member, but she was out during that time when it came in. So we did have everyone represented.
okay, very good. And our own acting superintendent is also an Army veteran. Sergeant, is that correct? All right, very good. And if we could just have a quick round of applause to celebrate our veterans. Okay. And let's see, for those of us of a certain age, next Wednesday will also mark the 60th anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I remember the 4 and 5-year-old classmates in kindergarten that I didn't see for a week, the adults looking worried and crying, and the nearly constant somber news reports telecast in black and white. The events of the 60s were a tumultuous time of great societal changes. Please, grandparents, take some time to share your memories with your grandchildren. And grandchildren, take some time to seek out your grandparents and ask about these times. Many of those same issues are being refought today, some 50 to 60 years later. I thought we had settled many of these important issues of those times, only to see the wheel of time bring them back to the forefront. Perhaps the knowledge of the past can help us to solve today's problems. Also today marks the last meeting of the current board. We did have an election on November 7th. Most of the board will be returning. However, Bob Aldi, Al Daniels, and our own James Paulson here were not reelected to the board. And we do look forward to welcoming Chris Milton, Ella Miles, and John Iovino at the December board meeting. So let's all work together to make our schools a good place to work and grow. Bob Aldi was a 9-year veteran of the BOE. He came in, served a partial term of a board member, and he served the last 2 years as the board chair. Al Daniels served 14 years with the Board of Ed. He did have one 2-year term as chair, and he was the chairman of the expulsion committee. James has just joined us in July, I believe it was. Okay, and he came in at a tumultuous time. We do appreciate his service for the short time he was here with us. And if I could have another round of applause to acknowledge all of them. Ooh, gifts.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Okay, report of the acting superintendent, Susan Lasari.
Yes, thank you. All right, I'm going to start off today. As many of you know, Jenna Tenor has moved on from Norwich Public Schools. We thank her for her service here at Norwich Public Schools as both the special education supervisor and as the preschool coordinator. And we wish her the best in her new chapter. And with that, we're excited to announce Corey Beckwith as our new preschool coordinator, who is right there. Corey. Give you a little bio of her. Corey has worked in the field of education for 23 years. During her educational career, she has been a paraprofessional classroom teacher, special education teacher, a school psychologist, director of pupil services, director of clinical day program, and an acting superintendent. She spent a portion of her career working in Norwich and the surrounding towns, the Crown Heights neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York, and the San Francisco Bay Area. Corey lives here in town with her 2 children and is a proud alum of Norwich Public Schools, including Stanton School. Corey is very excited for this homecoming, particularly working in the area of early childhood, where she looks forward to meeting the early childhood team and faculty and staff, children and their families. And I also want to add that she's also an Army veteran, so happy Veterans Day to you as well. So thanks for joining us. We're really excited to have you on board. We actually had a meeting right before here. So we look forward to her first day will be December 4th here at Norwich Public Schools. So thanks again for having me. I also want to announce too, and I gave everyone a copy, that on November 28th, a Tuesday, right here, we're going to have a NPS Early Learning Pre-K info session. And we're gonna learn about NPS pre-K registration timeline process, requirements. The agenda is gonna be a welcome by myself, purpose and introductions by Jamie Bender. NPS pre-K enrollment process and requirements will be by Corey Beckwith. And we're also gonna have UCFS here to talk about vaccinations and health records. So we're looking forward to that. We'll have food. Children are welcome. Dinner will be provided. So we're looking forward to having our parents there for that. Any questions about that? All right, I'll talk about the award recipients for the month. So we had Kyla Breen, Scribe teacher at Huntington School. Kyla Breen goes above and beyond to ensure that each and every student in her Scribe classroom is welcomed, included, and supported at Huntington School. She also supports other students not in her Strive classroom who are facing challenges and offers her expertise, resources, and strategies to support staff. Mrs. Breen is thoughtful, collaborative, and hardworking, and absolutely deserving of the recognition. Norwich Public Schools is lucky to have her. So congratulations to Kyla. For the I Make a Difference Support Staff Award, it went to Joe Fenton. Is Joe here? Joe is here. Joe's back there. Joe Fenton. He's the district-wide lead IT technician. Joe continuously goes above and beyond, making sure technology is running smoothly in the district and at central office. He fixes problems in a fast and efficient manner, and always with a smile, no matter how big or how small the problem is. He is always ready to go when needed and is a team player. Joe is a great member of our NPS family. He is always willing to help with whatever task is needed and always without hesitation. He is most deserving of this award, so congratulations, Joe. And finally, You Inspire Me Student Award. It went to Leo Canoe, Leo has been a student at Waquanic for the past 2 years and has made so much growth as a student and responsible community member. Leo works hard on his classroom assignments, seeks out opportunities to be a positive role model for his peers and younger siblings. All of our Waquanic community members strive to follow our cause expectation, and Leo is a model for everyone. We are so proud of Leo and all of his hard work and are excited to see what else he can achieve. And that was actually a fun time when we went in. Zach was actually doing lunch duty, and Leo was in the lunch wave. So we got to give this award in front of all of his entire class. What grades were in there at the time? Yeah, so that was nice. He was able to be seen by all his peers, so that was a great time. We have a retiree, Darlene Varvasotis. She started working for Norwich Public Schools as a paraeducator in 2008 at Kelly Middle School. She then became a grade 5 teacher at Greenville School in 2009. During her time with Norwich Public Schools, she has also worked at Huntington Global Middle School and most recently Kelly Middle School as a grade 6 ELA/reading teacher. Darlene has worked for the district for over 15 years and plans to retire at the end of December. So we wish Darlene all the best in her future endeavors. That's it for the awards now. Okay, this is something we need to have. Can you dial in, Joe?
Yeah.
Please. So I handed everyone out this. This is something that happened in April for the out of district high schools. We're talking about transportation, and I'm going to get our director of transportation on the phone so she can be part of the conversation.
This is Maria.
Hey Maria, it's Joe with Tech. You're on for the Board of Ed meeting?
Okay.
Hi, Maria, it's Susan.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for joining us. So so we need some clarification on the transportation. So this, in April, if you remember the conversation, it was about whether we're going to provide transportation for students not at NFA or Griswold, correct?
Yes.
All right, so
Yes.
we need to know, were you planning on letting the students that were coming in as freshmen and then the sophomore, juniors, and seniors to continue that transportation? Or were we ending it as of October 1st? That's what we're trying to figure out.
My understanding from Bob Serpinski was when that meeting took place, he was under the understanding that it was going to stop for all students as of October 1st.
So that's what we're trying to figure out, because I don't know if that's really what your intention was.
No, I believe our intention was that the busing would continue until the last student in those high schools that we would continue to have transportation. So if they were a sophomore, then it would continue for at least the 3 years that it would take for them to graduate.
What about the
We were not supposed to be accepting any freshmen this year, is what you're
Correct. So the freshmen were to provide their own transportation. They were not going to be provided transportation, except the ones at the designated schools,
which is Griswold and NFA.
Griswold and NFA.
So,
Yes.
so we have the number of students that are ninth grade. I have that out there. They were not notified, just so you guys are aware. The parents were never notified that there was not going to be transportation,
All
that there
right.
would not be.
So those 5 students in grade 9, are they utilizing the transportation now, do you know of?
As I'm looking at the spreadsheet, the weekly update that I get, I'm looking at Bacon, and there are 9th graders on there. As again, these are just students that have signed up for the transportation. So I as far as enrollment, I can't answer to that. I see ninth graders in ACT that are on the bus. Bacon, so I don't think any communication went out to any of the schools.
So how would you like us to proceed for this?
And again, I wasn't involved in this conversation. I was just told at some point after your board meeting that it would end in October. I asked if letters were going to go out to parents, and I was told that was going to be taken care of through administration, through the superintendent's office. And that was the last I heard of it. So I had spoken to Bob a couple of times and said, you know, are we doing something with this? And I'll check it and I'll check it. And then, you know, come October 1st, I said, we're still transporting them and I'm not going to refuse to put students on buses without notifying parents and giving them at least a few weeks heads up.
So Maria, was Bob's, from what Bob remembered, they were supposed to stop, the upperclassmen?
Bob said to me, I said that because I believe when I spoke to Amber, because there were differences in opinion, Amber felt the way that Mr. Penton felt, that we were not going to add any ninth graders on and continue transporting until they graduated out. According to Bob, his understanding was we were going to stop all transportation as of October 1st. And I believe he added that piece into his budget.
Thank you. I have to say, I honestly don't remember us talking about that aspect.
No, we definitely
We
did
did.
say for
Transportation
upperclassmen,
part.
we would continue the transportation until they graduated.
But that's a.
However, the ninth graders were not supposed
No,
to be
there was
given.
not supposed to be any new ninth graders. We were told
I knew
that
that
proper
part,
communication
but
was
it's
gonna
the
go
busing
out.
Right.
And I don't know if that's because of what we had happen right after that meeting, with the special meeting, that somehow.
Right, is there a way, Maria, that you can check to see if, I know you have a breakdown of the students, but the actual class year they're in, if those, at, say, for instance, at Bacon Academy, you list 5 ninth graders. Are those 5 ninth graders all using the transportation, partially or none?
What I listed, what you have in front of you is how many students have been using the bus. As I'm looking at my spreadsheet that I receive weekly from the bus company, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 10 ninth graders.
For Bacon Academy?
Mm-hmm.
Like
So you have to understand, we have students that sign up that they are going to use the transportation, and we have to pay the fee for that. But what you're seeing as, what I did was have the driver for, I think it was 4 weeks, Susan, to count how many students were actually getting on the bus.
So since they haven't been notified,
I think we would have to,
As far as I know, no one has been notified of anything. And I know that there was probably word out there about something, because I did receive an email and I really don't know who the woman is. My computer just froze. I don't know if any of you know her name, but, get back into my inbox, sorry. From a Deb Allard. It looks like she may be from the Chalmers School.
Well, the charter school, we need to provide transportation because that's within the city of
Yeah.
Norwich.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, thanks, Maria. So, do you want, I guess we need some clarification from, since they haven't been notified, Jamie and I have talked about this, it would be our recommendation to continue with this since the parents were never notified.
Yeah.
I think the ninth grade class this year has to be included and that be the final year.
I think that would, yes, that would have to be.
So we'll
um,
continue with it through ninth grade, starting next year.
All new ninth grade registration, if you choose to, we cannot provide busing.
So we'll need to get that out to parents
Right.
ASAP.
ASAP.
I can see like New London Magnet, there's only 4 students utilizing the bus, and even though there's 28 students enrolled and 10 are in ninth grade, so obviously, most of those ninth graders aren't using the busing.
Correct.
All right.
Okay?
But again, I agree with Susan. I can't see, as a parent, as a grandparent, I can't see stopping this now in the middle of the year. Parents make plans, have jobs, you know, it's just, I think what we need to do is now get word out to the schools that starting in September, we will no longer be transporting ninth graders, and we will work down as the years progress.
Right. And then hopefully we'll be able to consolidate something at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. If I make comments, the only thing is, you know, if some of these kids are at the same bus stops as our upperclassmen, we're gonna hear parents saying, but if he's going, why can't I? You know, it's
Right,
gonna,
if the bus is already there to pick up the
Exactly.
upperclassmen, I can see how parents would.
yeah,
would-
it's gonna be very awkward.
Yeah, but I mean, we have to stop
I
at
know,
some.
we have to do it at some point, right?
I mean,
I'm just saying we're opening, you know.
yeah, obviously, we're opening a huge can of worms, but hey, if they weren't, it's only fair, they weren't notified, we're
Oh, yeah,
already into November, we were almost, a full semester is only, less than a month left, in the fall semester.
So that's for the high schools. What about our magnet schools? I believe, is the marine science, is that a hub, Maria?
No, we do not have any hubs.
We don't, so they're, okay. So are we doing the same thing for the magnet schools?
Seems like we have to.
It's only fair overall, because the communication wasn't reached to the parents, we have to allow
For
it.
everyone?
Yeah, we have to allow it and then put a stop to it as soon as possible for the next group of students. So
I just
think
think.
if you just say all
I
new
think some
registration
thought
Yeah.
should go
have to
into
provide their own, but anyone who's
stopping
currently
it all
enrolled.
together
Right.
instead of
Okay.
going through.
I'm sorry, Maria, could you repeat
We're gonna run
what
into
you
problems
just said?
like the board said.
Maria, can you repeat that, please?
I think you should have some discussion of stopping it in September altogether, because I do believe you're gonna have, you will have a problem with saying, okay, because this student was there last year, he can get on, but the new student that just enrolled can't get on. I think we're going to receive more pushback from parents if we do it that way.
I don't see, but I think that if they were already in for freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, I think that we should let them finish.
I think
Yeah.
she's talking about
Transportation.
ninth grade
Right.
students this year. Is that because I think Heather is saying no new registration.
Next year, we'll let the parents know in plenty of time, like now,
Like now,
that they will not have transportation as freshmen. If they choose to go to one of the school other than Griswold or
or
NFA.
NFA.
Okay,
I think we need a motion, though, a motion and an approval of the motion that we will continue. Does someone want to make a motion?
There you go, Kevin. Jim.
And we make a motion that we will continue the busing of the students
Currently.
Current students.
through the end of the year. And then next year,
Any new
any
registrations
new registration.
include no busing, right? And do I have a
Mark,
second?
you're gonna need to make a motion to add to the agenda first.
Oh, all right, yeah,
Sorry.
yes.
I make a motion to add the transportation discussion added to the.
And do I have a second?
Kevin Catania, second.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the agenda has been amended. Okay, now we can do the motion for, if you could,
If I
again,
can
Jim.
remember that. I make a motion that we continue through the end of this year, all students, and beginning next year, grade 9 will not be allowed to have bus service.
Right, unless for the, unless they're designated high schools or magnet schools.
Designated high schools or magnet schools.
I will second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, and the last item is, if you guys all have a handout of the new implementation plan for kindergarten. So there's a lot of information on there that you can read. Now that Corey's on board with us, she's gonna be a key player in how we're going to roll out kindergarten with the new age. We talked about this last month. I will say that we still don't know, the state could change their mind in a month or a few months, and then we won't need to do this, so. But if they do, we do have a plan to move forward, and we are gonna be including parents in these information and focus sessions, so just wanted you to be aware of the plan moving forward.
Well, that all depends on the rollout across the state and pushback from larger districts with the State Department of Education.
For sure.
Okay,
All right, and that's all I have. Do you have any questions about this?
and also, we could direct you on the busing to make sure that the parents are notified of the new policy that
Yes.
will be.
Yeah, ask a question. Students with a late birthday or early fall, okay, will not automatically, so who will be, other than these reasons here?
So there has to be a rubric, and the state is not providing us with one.
Right, no
So we have to come up
parameters.
with our own,
Okay,
and then decide if,
if the student's ready or not. And of course, if the parent doesn't want it, they'll just wait. Alrighty.
So they must be 5 years old by the time they start
September
kindergarten.
1st.
September 1st, basically. So I
We'll have a plan.
I know when I went to kindergarten, it was, I think, February 1st.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was 4 years old when I started kindergarten. But they didn't have early education back then either, so.
All right, I'll keep you updated on that. That concludes my.
Okay, report of the acting assistant.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna start out with some pre-K happenings, and as Susan mentioned, we're really looking forward to have Corey joining us full-time in the beginning of December. Our pre-K staff absolutely need her leadership and guidance as we continue to square away the move from Bishop to other schools in the district, which is, it's impacted their work a little, and they really needed to have some extra support in that area. I have met with the staff a couple of times to hear their concerns and provide some resolutions, and to let them know that we need their collaboration and expertise as we think about our pre-K in the future. As Corey and the administrative team takes a look at, how we want our pre-K to be established. We have currently about 34 on the processing list where between pre-K staff and administrative assistants, we're in the registration department, we're able to get kids to fill the slots, become part of our program. Some of the classes, as are, across the district, some Moriarty, Huntington, Betts, Mahan. We are trying to move some of our classes at Moriarty away from the open classroom design to Huntington and Betts, where there are some open closed classrooms. So that's been in the works, but I assured the staff that anything that we're doing, we have to make sure that we are methodical. We have all of our steps covered, that parents are aware and transportation's aware, because we don't want any more hiccups in terms of how we're bringing our newest learners and our families that often, this is their first time experiencing education. So we really want to make sure that all of our constituents are with us in that decision making, including the Office of Early Childhood and School Readiness Council. So that's how we're going to move forward in our decisions. We absolutely had to hire back an administrative assistant to support the early learning organization, the structure, the processes. It was impossible to do it without a staff member. And she's been very instrumental in already helping with some of that organization that needed to happen, and the reporting, between the ECE reporting, the ECIS reporting, and all acronyms that probably don't mean anything to all of you, but they mean a lot to the department in funding. But the most important role that she has, in my opinion, is her ability to provide customer service to the parents. And, talking with them about what they need and the different types of programs that we offer, and being that liaison between what actually happens. And so that's really key. So we're glad to have at least one staff to help with that right now. Any questions about pre-K? Again, happy to have Cory with us.
So the early learning program, I think we had over 200 slots available, and how many do we have enrolled now?
I don't know, you'd have to check the enrollment. I don't have those numbers in my head, Mark. I can go there if you'd like.
I remember it was somewhere around 140.
Yeah, 300. 203.
203.
203. But we had slots for how many children available? Do you remember
I think it's
that?
in the 300s, late 300s. I think those
Okay,
400 was thrown around there, but I don't know if that was a real number. So
we still have space for
yes.
approximately another 100 students. Okay.
And that's part of some of the work of the admin assistant, and is to and the meeting that we're going to have, inviting the parents in to learn about a pre-K program, to let them know that it's here, and
Right.
to certainly apply.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's available, why not,
Exactly. And then we also have to staff it and that kind of thing. So there are a lot of variables. When we, like I said, we want to make sure that we're doing it right. We don't want to have 100 people want to have pre-K slots next week, and we don't have the staff to support it. And that's important. So there's a couple of highlights in the other reports that are included under the acting assistant superintendent. Really excited about the renewed partnership with the art program in City Hall, where parents and kids are going to be able to see their artwork there. I know it surely makes me smile when I see our kids' artwork on the walls. And I know that we talked about getting it back in the central office at Bishop, because it does warm my heart when I see the work that they do and the great things that our art teachers do with our kids. We have been made aware of some PE challenges. We had sent some correspondence earlier this month, and after getting some background on the issue that was brought to our attention, we are planning with meeting with the middle school PE team, the coordinator, the academic, the curriculum coordinator, and school administration, because we understand that there needs to be some changes with PE programming. But again, takes planning, and that always impacts the schedule. And if you know anything about middle school schedules, it can be really a beast to establish. So we really want to make sure that we're going to roll out any different programming with some strategy and the right people at the table to help us make those decisions. Extended learning. We had a great experience with lots of community-based organizations applying for grants so that they could become part of our extended learning program and offer our students additional opportunities after school. We know that, when kids have something to look forward to other than our reading and math, those after-school programs can get them to come, and that improves attendance. So really grateful that we have community partners coming in to enhance our extended learning program. We've been strategic in the selection. There was an application process, and we wanted to make sure that there was experiences across different schools so that there was some equity there. Other things that went on this month, one of a major task that our team engaged in was preparation for the State Department beginning of the year meeting that all reflects the impact and outcomes of our alliance funding. So Susan and I are really appreciative of the work of lots of team members that came together to support that work. Sarah Dusso, Luz Rivera, Lisa Hughes, Sarah Coupe, Ashley Eichhorn, Mike Garber, Stephen Marvin, both of our assistants, Amber and Chelsea. It takes a team when you're meeting with the State Department. There's a lot of information that has to be collected and presented in various ways. And so we really appreciate their help on that. In addition, what I've learned over the last month in working with the different State Department consultants, they have been such a help to us. Answering our questions, helping us around some of the grant questions we've had. And that just, we've had Marge Hughes be at our side quite a bit, but we've had other state consultants. For every grant that we have, there's somebody else that we contact, and they've really been supportive and integral in moving forward with some of the grant initiatives that we have. So really appreciate that. And they know that we know how urgent our work is in terms of increasing the academic performance of our students. So we're really looking forward to continuing their work, our work with them. Another highlight this month, I know that the board was really hopeful that we could increase some of our opportunities at adult ed with our English speakers of other languages. And John Glover, our director, was able to secure some funding to increase add another class, which could, be for about 25 or 30 students. That would start sometime, I think, November 16th, he mentioned. So other opportunities will continue to be looked for, and all good news.
And I saw in the multilingual learners report, is that number up 789 active EL students?
It was hovering about the same. So when we looked at it when we were getting ready for the State Board of Ed Alliance meeting, and I know there were a couple that were either added or subtracted. I don't know if it was one way or the other, but it's up since last year. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
Yes.
It was, but
it's when you're talking 800 students.
but that's always a moving target,
Yeah.
depending on conditions around the world or whatever. Okay. Any questions for Jamie?
Just one, Jamie. So is he gonna be able to fill that second class? Have we had good response?
I couldn't answer that, but I know that I'm sure because there was I think there was a long list of people that were looking for
Very
that class.
good.
So, and I know that we were talking about, it's not just here, it's everywhere. And it's also hard to find instructors. That was another variable. So, I'm glad that we're able to at least open up one other section for our community here.
There's still a significant wait list, but we're chipping away at it and trying to find ways. We're gonna be meeting with John to find some other ways to help our.
So I know flyers were supposed to go home with the kids at the start of school. regarding the availability of the ESL classes.
There's a couple of different classes. There's some at the elementary levels and then there's some at the adult ed. So they're a couple of different programs.
Very good, very good.
Okay, report of Director of Student Services,
Good
Lisa.
evening. Good evening. So in my report, you have the typical highlights of placement. You can see our out of district placements down by 1. We're getting there. We're chipping away on that. And our homeschooling report. I have a couple of highlights, big highlights actually this evening. Unified sports, we're going to offer this program again in district. We've met Lou Allen and a group, a committee, and myself, we've met with Kelly Middle School and Teachers Memorial to come together to work on bringing unified basketball to the district. So we will have open registration through Family ID through the month of December, and then we're looking at a targeted time of mid-January to start practices. So Mr. Allen has assured me he has all of the uniforms and we just need players and coaches. And so it's exciting to have that back in the district. In addition to that, I like to update you on different instruction that's happening for our students with IEP supports, our specially designed instruction. And I wanted to highlight that we have a group of our special educators getting trained in a multisensory reading approach that's really looking at that phonics and phonemic awareness to build on their reading across the district. It really lends itself to meeting students where they are, in addition to their core instruction in their classrooms as well. We continue with, and so that training is ongoing, and special educators are engaging in that training through CERC, and it's not expensive, which is nice, and we get the materials. And we also continue with our work with Unique Learning System. There is a link that I'm not sure if you can open it on this report. If not, I will send it in a separate link that gives you an overview of what Unique Learning System is. We have our students who are in more separate and supported classrooms using that high and comprehensive approach, high leverage approach to teaching. And then I wanted to give a shout out to a really special group that has been a grassroots group called Parents with a Purpose. I had a wonderful experience joining their group for an evening not too long ago. And I know that this is a new parent-driven support group for families who have children who have IEP supports and disabilities and need some help and in maybe answering questions, things that are happening in the district. It's also a nice opportunity for me to jump on and meet some families and answer some questions as well. So I was really appreciative of that. They will have, they're really intended to be a group that's a confidential group that will invite speakers in from the community and from the school and really create a supportive group environment. It was really nice. And I know Cindy Beauregard, who is also involved in assisting Jen Sauls, who's in the audience today. She really did a nice job putting that together. And so if you have any questions, you can always direct it to Jen. But I wanted just to give a shout out to the group because they've come together and really, I think, making a great difference. In addition to that, shout out, I have, of course, we continue with CT SEDS, which is our data system, our state data system. And I wanted to just mention to you that, it does have a translation feature. There is an invitation to the portal that families do get. We are working to determine whether or not they need to have an additional each year, get an additional invitation to the portal. I'm working with supervisors on that, but it is translated into different languages that you can see in the report. And also the nice part about that is that it allows us to exchange documents digitally, so parents get those notifications. And lastly, I wanted to let you know that the annual Autism Wellness Fair, which was really, really well attended last year, we had a pony and everything. I don't know if I can, we can arrange that, we'll try. But we do have a save the date in April, April 4th for that event. So look for that, invitations will follow. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Not so much a question, but more of a positive statement. Parents with a Purpose, when I first saw that attachment, I was very happy to see this because not only out in the community, when I was outdoor knocking, meeting with voters who have children with disabilities, but as a life skill instructor working with the ARC Eastern of Connecticut, I have parents who want to do more for their children, to find resources to help aid their children and whatnot. And there's just so much involvement and all that. So with this kind of support out there for families is a great thing. And I encourage all Board of Education members to share this information publicly and get out the word. It's going to be very beneficial for many parents who are struggling, and I hear some of the concerns and stories. So this is going to be a great help. So thank you for providing that, Lisa, and the partnership we have with them.
Really, it is the parents and just getting that out there. So I agree. I will also be sending that in the parent newsletter this quarter.
Okay, any questions for Lisa? All right, very good. And we don't have Bob Serpinski with us tonight. You can read his reports. Save your questions for next month, unless it's something pressing, and direct it to the superintendent and she will get the numbers wrong. No. Okay. And let's see. Public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
No.
Does anyone wish to come and speak? Yes. Okay.
Hello.
I just have this brief thing to read. The board welcomes public comment as it represents an opportunity for members of the public to express their views on matters within the board's authority. On behalf of the board, I wish to remind commenters that consistent with our bylaws, speakers must keep their individual comments to no more than 3 minutes with a maximum of 30 minutes per topic area. All speakers must maintain appropriate standards of decorum. No boisterous or inappropriate conduct is permitted. We expect comments to be respectful and civil in tone, and we do not permit name-calling, raised voices, or vulgarity. All comments must be addressed to the board as a whole, not to individual board members or members of the administration. As public comment is an opportunity to convey your views to the board, it is not a question and answer session. The board and the administration will not be responding to questions nor engaging in dialogue during the public comment period. The board and the administration will determine whether and how it will address questions raised during public comment. When you come to the microphone, please give your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Dominica Villas, 22 Page Street in Norwich, Connecticut. Hello, everybody. I just want to thank you guys because there's been a lot of change going on and I appreciate it. A lot of positive things. And I'm grateful to be back. So thank you again, you guys. I had questions and I know you guys can't answer them right now, but at some point to address them. My son was wondering, you guys were talking about the buses, his concern right now, if Norwich Tech was included in that. But I'm assuming that Norwich Tech is here, so that would not be a bus that would be stopped.
Yes, any schools within Norway provide transportation.
Yeah, so he needed that confirmed. I told him I'll ask. I was curious if you guys can address at the next meeting at least, what you guys are planning to do to help hire more paras, especially for a lot of our preschool classes, since we are very low. Having 16 to 20 kids in a classroom and only 2 people is very tough. So, we were all curious about that, a bunch of staff members, so I, come up and figured I'd put that question out there for them. As well as if there was, I think, more towards you guys, if there was a timeline for movement-wise and from Moriarty to Huntington. I was grateful to get a really good teacher that's sped, so it works out great, but we just want to make sure we're all ready too. And I know you guys will take care of the parent stuff, which I appreciate it, so that would be nice, but that was it. Thank you, guys. And I love my new group over here, my parent group, so hope everybody joins in it.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else for public comment? Anyone else for public comment? Anyone else for public comment? Public comment is closed. Thank you. Did you want to speak?
I just want to make sure that everybody knows that they can come and talk to me about the Parents with a Purpose meeting, and then I'll give them any kind of information that they want.
Okay. All right, new business. We have a first read on the wellness policy, code of ethics, meeting updates in combination with model policy officers, and the resignation from officers. Please read those over. And for the December meeting, I believe those will be covered. Unfinished business, action item 5.1. Could I have a motion on this, please?
Motion to delete policy number 9124, attorneys.
Christine DeStacio, I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? No? Okay, it is unanimous. And action item 5.2. I have a motion, please.
Kevin Zeitani, motion to approve the updates to policy number 6172.41 regarding parent and family engagement for Title I students.
And could I have a second, please?
I second that.
Okay, any discussion on this? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Hearing none, it is unanimous. Goes this into committee reports. Budget and ad hoc, those haven't really started yet. Negotiations, I believe we've completed all the negotiations. Policy committee.
The policy committee, we met on the 6th of this month. All the policy that you see on first read, just look that over and we'll have a discussion next month.
Okay. School building committee. Do you want to take it, Christine?
We held our meeting and the last cog of the wheel was chosen. We had 3 firms who presented their presentations. And then the decision was made to hire Downs as the construction manager for the new schools. So that's the last big thing that needed to be done. So now we start moving forward.
All right, very good. Integrated day charter, Greg isn't here. NFA liaison, that was Bob's area, and Lauren was Al's. So we're now into Executive session.
Pursuant to Connecticut General Statute 1-200, members of the Board of Education move to go into executive session for discussion of confidential attorney-client privilege communications regarding the conclusion of the forensic audit and steps for addressing personal matters. The board may ask board counsel Peter Mayer and/or acting superintendent Susan Lazard to participate in some or all of the executive session discussion.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Hearing none is unanimous. We are now in executive session at 6:41 PM.
Can I use the restroom? Can I use the restroom?
She wants to use the rest.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Me too.
I'd rather use it now.
Okay, it's 8:04 PM. We're out of executive session. No votes were taken in executive session. Could I have a motion to adjourn, please?
Motion to adjourn?
I was second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are now adjourned. Thank you.